Hi everybody, welcome to my mom's recipe box. So today we were going to make scones. There was a recipe that my mom and I had. I think it came from Parade magazine, on the back of Parade magazine, and we fiddled around with it a little bit to make strawberry scones, which were one of my mom's faves. So anyway, I could not find that recipe, so I kind of went from memory of a basic scone recipe. And so what we filmed today was what I thought was going to be a recipe for scones. Unfortunately, we had a little bit of trouble with the consistency of the batter, and I could not get it to shape into a round that I could cut the wedges out to make a scone, because scones kind of like tri-cornered, like a piece of pie. Couldn't get the dough to cooperate at all. So we ended up making a strawberry scone cake, and we're not really sure what to call it. So we think we came up with a strawberry shortcake scone, or a strawberry short scone, if you will. Anyway, whatever you want to call it, it's delicious with a cup of coffee and, you know, getting ready for my walk with Rafe, my dog, and my sweet husband, who is also my camera person. So I hope you enjoy the episode. It's not going to be quite what we set out for, but we came up with something delicious, and I hope you'll give it a try. Okay, stay tuned. Hi everybody, welcome back to my mom's recipe box. We had a little cold snap last night, so it's actually a little bit chilly today, which is nice, even though technically it's still summer here. But it's nice that the temperatures are starting to fall, and when the temperatures fall, I think about baking. And one of the things my mom really liked to make, especially later in her life when meeting friends and getting together was more important, she liked to have these little luncheons, and she'd have 4 or 5 of her girlfriends from high school. My mom kept in touch with her childhood friends up until the time she died. So she would like to have these little luncheons, and she'd make her chicken salad sandwiches on these little tiny potato rolls. They were so good. And one of the things she liked to have were scones. Now, I apologize to all my British friends. I'm sorry, cooking for the missus. I know this isn't an authentic recipe, but this is what my mom and I would make together. So this is what I'm going to make today, is a really easy scone recipe that you can have, you know, with your coffee in the morning, or you can have them at night as a little dessert treat. They're really easy to make. They don't take a really long time. So come on back and we are going to get into this recipe. Come back. Okay guys, let's get started on the scones. So simple recipe. What I have in the bowl here is 3 cups of flour. And to that flour, I'm going to add about a little less than a ½ cup of sugar. And the reason I say a little bit less is because I'm using a Truvia. I'm using a stevia and sugar blend, and this is sweeter than just sugar. So if you're using plain white sugar, go ahead and use about a ½ cup. If you're using a blend, I would say go a little bit less, okay? So that goes in here. And then we have 5 teaspoons of baking powder. That goes in. And we have a little less than a teaspoon, or ½ a teaspoon of salt. Okay, and that goes in. And then to this, we're just going to give it a little whisk to mix all the dry ingredients together. Okay, just like that. Okay, the next thing we're going to put in here, guys, is 3/4 of a cup of cold butter. So I'm going to go over here to the fridge, and I'm going to get my butter. Okay, here it is. This is a stick and a half, okay? If you're using unsalted butter, fine. If you're using salted butter, fine. But I would say cut back on the salt a little bit, okay? It's kind of up to you guys, all right? So this is cut into little pieces. So I'm going to put this in the flour, like so. And you want it to be cold. That's why I kept it in the fridge. Okay, now what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to take these 2 forks and we're going to mix the flour and butter together. So I'll come over here. If you have a pastry cutter, you can do it that way. Okay, so we just want to mix this up. Actually, 2 forks is not quite get that. Okay, guys, we finished. You can come over here. We finished incorporating the butter into the flour mixture, and now we're going to start to add the wet ingredients. Okay, so I have a cup of milk here. Actually, it's a cup of half and half. So you can use milk, you can use half and half, you can use a light cream if you want to. Any of those things will work fine. And if you want to go, non-dairy, you can use, I would say, a plant-based creamier style milk, like not just coconut milk or not just oat milk or almond milk, but maybe an oat cream or an almond cream. They're a little bit thicker and I think they'll work better here. Okay, so, and we also have an egg. So we're gonna crack our egg into the bowl. You know why, I'm not even gonna say it anymore. And then we're gonna add our egg to our milk mixture. And then we're gonna add, of course, a little bit of vanilla extract. That looks good. And then we're going to give this a little bit of a whisk. I'm sorry, babe, I need to go. Can you get this all mixed together? It's our dog drinking. Okay, it's all mixed up. And we're just gonna pour a little of this in, give it a stir. A little bit more. Let's see how we're going here. Okay. I don't want the dough to get too wet because we're going to be handling it. And I don't want to handle it too much because I don't want it to get tough. Okay. Okay. All right, so I think that's probably enough of the milk mixture because I'm going to be adding the strawberries, which are going to be a little wet also. So I have about a cup of strawberries here, and I've chopped them up, and I've added a little bit of lemon zest to the top, okay? Just, again, to keep it nice and fresh. And I'm going to put these in here. Okay. I'm going to give it another little mix. All right, now we're ready to knead it for a minute. Okay. So let's come over here. Rapey, I got away, baby. Okay, we're gonna knead it on this surface. This is parchment paper, guys, and if you're baking, this stuff is your best friend, okay? It's non-stick. It means you don't have to grease your pans. You don't have to worry about that messy crap. You can just, you can knead on this surface. I'm gonna save myself some cleanup time, and then I'm gonna bake on this surface and save myself some more cleanup time, okay? So come on back and we'll start kneading, okay? Okay guys, we're ready to knead. And kneading, K-N-E-A-D-I-N-G. Okay, so I'm gonna put a little flour on my parchment here, like so. And then I'm gonna take my dough and I'm gonna turn it out onto the flour. And this is not gonna take, this isn't like making bread. You don't have to knead it for a really long time. You just want to knead it a little bit. Get it into a consistency where you can make a little round out of it, okay? Okay. A bit more flour on the top. Pretty rough. So we're just gonna get everything mixed in. Hi guys, welcome back. Well, guess what? This is my mom's recipe box first ever disaster in the kitchen. Okay, the dough did not turn out. It's too wet. So if you look over here, I've added flour, but the dough is still too wet to knead. So I don't want to add more flour because I'm basically going to make something very tough and gross. So what I'm going to do with this dough is we're not going to waste it. We are going to put it in a brownie pan and we're going to bake it. So I have a brownie pan, and just to prove that the wheels have definitely come off, I used a non-stick cooking spray, which I never do. Okay, so we're going to pick up this mess, which I think is still going to taste good, okay? It's not scones, I'm not even calling this scones. So we are going to make scones. We'll make a new recipe box video for you guys where we actually make the scones that come out right, okay? I think last time I made these with Mom, I think we had a slightly different recipe because we were using fruit in it. And I think when you use something wet like fruit in this recipe, you've got to adjust your other dry and wet ingredients. Okay, so we're just going to press this in. Nothing fancy. There we go. And you know, this is going to taste good. All right, it's just going to taste good. It's just not going to be my mom's recipe box scones. Okay, so let me get this all in. I'm going to wash my hands. I'm going to get this in the oven. And when we come back, I guess we can taste them, you know, who cares? All right, come back. Hi guys, welcome back. So this is does not look like a scone, but I baked it in the oven for about half an hour at 400 degrees, and it smells great. Okay, so we're gonna give it a taste test, even though it's not a scone. We'll go back and make scones. But for now, let's give this a taste, okay? So, babe, you wanna come in? Give this a try. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Smells good, looks good.
Okay, here we go. They're pretty good. You can really taste the lemon, and the strawberries are really nice. It's, even though I added extra flour, it's still pretty nice and light and fluffy. So it just goes to show you guys, even when you have a disaster in the kitchen, you can always make something good out of it. Never be afraid to try things, and don't freak out when they don't work, because cooking in the kitchen is just all about enjoying yourself, finding inspiration with new ideas. Sometimes a big mistake can turn out to be a nice little cake. You know, like, it's not a scone, okay, but it tastes good. It's light, it's sweet. It's just, you know, I'm not going to call this a disaster. I think we can call this a thumbs up, a win. So guys, never be afraid in the kitchen. The kitchen is your friend. And if you've had, you know, disasters that have turned into delights, drop me a line and let me know. I'd love to hear about it. Okay, guys, that's it for this episode of My Mom's Recipe Box. We love you. Thank you for coming. Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please subscribe. Hit that like button. Share. And follow us on YouTube because we have new content coming out every week. Okay? Take good care, guys. We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.